welcome. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury makeup. Today I have with me a couple of the new blushes from SISLEY. So this is the Le Phyto-Blush. And before we get started, let's go through a quick unboxing. All right, so it's time for a quick SISLEY unboxing. I just wanted to show off this box because they have changed their boxes. And when I got it, the tissue paper wasn't sticking out, but I did open it and then retie it back up. So this is the gift box they are using now. I just think it's really pretty with this kind of like, it's kind of like a safari print, but you can see you've got like these manicured fingernails and everything in here as well. So you've got like a toucan and a cheetah. I just think it's a really beautiful print. All right, so here's the inside. And I really wanted to get I wanted 4 of the new blushes, but I decided to start with 2, make sure I like the formula first because they are $80 each. So in their line, one of the 6 new blushes that came out is technically a highlighter. It looked a little dark in the pan, so I did pass on that. And then I really wanted to get a sample of the new Isia La Nuit perfume, and all the time, I've always said Isia, but I guess it's Isia, according to SISLEY. So anyway, they said they don't have samples and they couldn't send them out. And then after I finished talking to them, I got a code to use on my next purchase for a little gift with purchase. And of course it has a sample in it. So I ended up getting a sample of the Isia La Nuit in my package. So I'll be testing this out. And then let's see what else is in this sample packet. Honestly, I didn't pay attention to what else was in it because I was so excited for the perfume sample. So we've got a little precious hair oil, a sample of the eye fluid, sample of the Instant Glow Primer, the Base Lumiere. We have the Firming Concentrated Serum, which I have used a full bottle of this and I absolutely loved it. And then the anti-wrinkle one as well. Oh, these 2 I think were the samples I chose. And then the rest of them were part of the gift with purchase. And then, you know, one of the best masks ever, the Black Rose mask. So definitely a great little product. So if you're looking to get a gift with purchase and you're ordering directly from sisley.com, I believe the code was CS2021. But if you click on the live chat, the code is right there. So definitely check that out if you are interested. So I picked up 2 of the blushes and they come in this color, this kind of blush color packaging. They are a radiant blush, Le Phyto-Blush. I picked up number 1, Pink Peony, and number 2, which is Rosy Fushia. So that's the really bright pink. And the blush comes in a velvet pouch. You can see you've got the elastic here to keep a flap closed. I always liked that. And then here is the actual blush. So it's 0.22 ounces or 6.5 grams, and it is made in Italy, and it has a 36-month shelf life. All right, so it is a strong magnetic closure. You do have a mirror on the top, and there is one of these little, you know, things that you pull off. Let's pull that off if I can get it. There we go. And this is Pink Peony. So we'll swatch it in a few minutes. And then here we have Rosy Fuchsia. And this one here is number 2, Rosy Fuchsia. So this is the box that the blushes come in. And according to SISLEY, on the back of the box, it says a powder blush which enhances and embellishes the cheeks with a veil of color and light. The complexion is brightened, illuminated, and radiant, enriched with camellia and cottonseed oils for skin that is soft and supple. Now, as you can see on the box, these are radiant blushes, and there are 6 blushes in this new line, although really 5 of them are blushes and 1 of them is a highlighter. So number 6 is technically a highlighter. It looked a little bit deep. I obviously haven't seen it in person, but in the photos online, it looked a little bit deep. So I did pass on that. And I picked up shades 1 and 2. And I have to say, I've been wearing these all week and I love them. So I ended up ordering 2 more last night. So I have shades The Golden Rose and Rosewood are also coming to me. So I will have swatches for you of those when they arrive. Now let's take a look at the actual product. You know, you saw in the unboxing what everything looked like. It had the little plastic on the screen. You've got the mirror. It says Sisley Paris on top. And this is it. So I've used this particular shade 4 times now. So you can see, you know, it really holds up well, the imprint in here. And it's not like super powdery. You can see there's like a few stray particles of powder around, but it's really not a powdery blush. Now, before we get started on swatches, I just wanted to share with you the information from the Sisley website on these blushes. It says its transforming ultra sensorial texture is ultra soft to the touch and lightly veils the skin. Ultra fine and light, this non-powdery powder glides onto the skin. It blends seamlessly and is easily buildable to suit multiple looks and effects. And it gives you a healthy glow and a natural radiance. I have to say, you know, as good as all that sounds, I actually have to say it's true. So I really enjoy these. So each of these are 0.22 ounces or 6.5 grams. They retail for $80, and right now they're exclusive to the Sisley website, but they are a new permanent product. So they will appear at other retailers at some point. And then hopefully, you know, we'll be able to get them on sale. Now, let's start swatches. When you actually touch this, I mean, it's obviously a powder product. You can see here, you know, what it looks like after I touch it with that. And it's a powder product. However, it's one of those like creamy powder products. So it feels like, yeah, it's creamy to the touch, you know, like a super creamy powder eyeshadow. That's what this feels like. And you can see it blends out smoothly. So this is shade 1, Pink Peony. And this is shade number 2, Rosy Fushia. Now, both of these blushes are highly pigmented blushes. So even though Pink Peony is technically a lighter shade, it's very pigmented. So the color you see in the pan is the color that you get on your cheeks. You can sheer it out and make it a little bit lighter, but if you go in with, you know, normal pressure and so forth, you are getting this color on your cheeks. So if you're fair or light and you want to go in lighter, use a lighter touch. If, however, you have medium or deeper skin tones, you know, you can go in, you don't have to work to get the pigment there. So I think that's one of the great things about these blushes. You don't, depending on your skin tone, you don't have to rely just on deeper shades because they are all highly pigmented, at least the 2 that I have. So I think that's really nice, and they blend out very seamlessly. So I've used several different blush brushes this week to test it out, and I have a couple of demos. So let me go over those demos with you first, and then we'll finish discussing my thoughts, and we'll do a few color comparisons. We're going to start off by using the Pink Peony number 1 from Sisley, and I'm using the Chantecaille F03. And I did not set my foundation. I'm wearing the Guerlain High Perfection foundation. Wow, I barely touched this. It definitely picks up a lot of pigment. I stamped it on my microfiber cloth, just putting it on. Look at that. So it definitely has some power. I'm actually gonna wipe this brush off and then blend it in. All right, so just being careful now and just getting up a little bit here. And let's put that on. That gives a really nice light pink flush. I think it's actually a really great springtime shade. Really enjoying this. So we'll see how well this wears throughout the day. And that's it for now. Okay, we're gonna try on the Sisley blush in number 2, Rosy Fushia. And I'm using the Z4 from Chantecaille. You can see pigment comes up very easily. Let's see. Okay, definitely bright. Let me get the Soniji Smooth Buffer. I'm gonna take this and just gonna kind of buff this into the skin. And now I get this really nice rosy fuchsia type glow. It's a little bit more pigmented than what I would typically wear. I'll have to put it on with a lighter hand, but you can see that this is definitely going to show up on deeper skin tones as well. So on this side, I'm going to go in just with the Smooth Buffer. Gonna wipe this off and blend it out a bit. Definitely very bright, very pigmented. I'm gonna take a little bit of finishing powder to tone this down. So I'm taking the Chantecaille Eclat Dew face powder. That's the one from the holiday collection 2019, I believe. I'm just gonna get a little bit of the powder on the Smooth Buffer, kind of buff that over it. Now I went in with very little product. So you can see that this is definitely a pigmented blush. I can go in with a lighter hand next time, and I will definitely be doing that for this shade. But you can see that with no effort at all, you're getting pigment. All right, so that's gonna be it for me. Let me show you from a distance. So this is the SISLEY blush from a distance in number 2, Rosy Fushia. And I think it gives a really nice flush to the cheeks. Everything blends out beautifully. It's obviously a very pigmented blush. And I really wanted to compare this to the Wayne Goss Vivid Azalea. So we'll definitely be doing that in the comparisons. So stay tuned for that. All right, today I want to actually mix both of the blushes. And the SISLEY website actually recommends using a powder brush. I don't know if they mean like a cheek size or what, but I figured let's go ahead and try something like this because it's a little bit wispier. So I'm going to mix first into the bright pink. So there's some pigment there. I'm not sure if that really shows up on there. And then into the light pink, and just gonna knock it off on my hand. And let's just see how this applies. This should give a really soft look. I like that, actually. Yeah, that's definitely giving a much softer effect. Just add a little bit more. Now I wiped off the brush. I'm just gonna do a few circular motions here, just gonna blend that a little bit more diffusely. All right, and this is not how deeply I would wear it personally on a regular basis, but I really wanted the color to show up well on camera, so hopefully you can see kind of like the sheen that you get from there and just kind of how seamless it actually blends in with the skin. And you know, it really does give you kind of like a flushed look that looks very natural. So aside from the obvious overload on pigment that I have on right now. And this is what it looks like from a distance before I dilute that at all. I hope those demos were helpful, and I have to say that this week I have experimented with these two blushes using a variety of brushes. So I've used looser, fluffier brushes, such as like a powder brush that you saw in the third demo. I've also used the denser Soniji Smooth Buffer with both shades. I have used, you know, a typical cheek brush. I've also used lighter, wispier brushes, such as a fan brush, to kind of see how these blushes apply with different techniques. And I have to say that they apply beautifully and seamlessly with all of them. It's very easy to go in and get a very light flush if you are using something a little bit wispier. I actually really think that the powder brush that I used in the third demo, I think that gives you a really nice light soft wash of color. So if you're looking to just have like barely there color, you know, kind of like just a little bit of color peeking through your skin, that is the perfect style of brush to use for that. And I wasn't sure if it was going to end up being too big, but if you're going for that soft look, I actually think the powder brush works beautifully. And if you are looking obviously at targeting a smaller area, go in with a traditional cheek brush and or the Synergy Smooth Buffer. And depending on what you do with it, if you do a sweeping motion, you know, you're going to definitely be very targeted and you'll have like a nice, you know, delineation of the color, and then you can easily buff out those edges. However, you know, if you are looking for lighter coverage and so forth, again, go with something wispier and perhaps use some circular motions. Now, the SISLEY website itself, they recommend using a circular motion with a powder brush. And it says it also can be used with a sweeping motion, but their primary recommendation was to use circular motions with a powder brush. So just something to note there. But I think that all of the different blushes really blend things out beautifully. Now, the first thing I thought of when I saw this blush online, the Rosy Fushia, is the Wayne Goss Vivid Azalea. So we are going to compare that. And actually, this is kind of similar to another one of the Wayne Goss shades as well. So we'll be comparing these shades in just a second, but just to finish out my thoughts, I think that these blushes are beautiful. I think they are a great formula. I think that they were very well thought out. And when SISLEY terms it an ultra sensorial texture, you know, I would have to agree. And it's got this creaminess, but yet it's powder. It kind of blends in beautifully. You know, it doesn't look like you are putting makeup on. It just looks like that's your natural color coming through. And, you know, obviously depending what shade is going to depend on how natural it looks, but you know what I mean? Like the actual application does not look makeup-y. And I think that this blush is just incredible. So I did not have any of the SISLEY Orchid blushes with the orchid on them, so I can't compare that. However, I believe that is going to be a powder highlighting blush compared to this, which is just supposed to be a little bit more seamless and radiant. And when they say radiant, that's really more about the sheen that you get from buffing it in versus any sort of like highlighting particles or anything. There is no shimmer or sparkle in either of the shades that I have. So it's really just this beautiful, like natural radiant look that you get once you apply it to your skin. So just wanted to be clear that there is no sparkle or shimmer in either of these shades. Now let's go ahead and look at some swatches. Now we're gonna start with this Wayne Goss palette. This is Blush Peony. We're gonna compare this pink shade here to the #1 pink Peony. I'm gonna put this one right above. I have to say this is probably my most similar blush that I have to the SISLEY in shade. And the difference really is this is a really nice, smooth, satiny powder, but this is a creamier feeling powder. And I actually think this creamy texture works really well to help it last all day because it goes on and that little bit of moisture in the powder really helps meld with your skin for a seamless finish. And I also think it just kind of helps to kind of set into your makeup a little bit. So it just sort of sets. That's, I think, the best way I can describe it. But I think that's one of the things that makes this blush really nice. By the way, this does last all day. Next up, this is the Vivid Azalea blush from Wayne Goss. And you can see right off the bat that this one is a little bit more of a purpley pink, whereas the one from SISLEY is going to be a little bit warmer. They are both cool tones, but there's a little bit more warmth in the one from SISLEY. And it's a little bit more watermelon pink versus more of a purpley pink here for Wayne Goss. This one here is the Patrick Ta She's That Girl. We're gonna compare this one to Pink Peony. And I'm gonna move down here. I'm gonna swatch another one, the SISLEY, right underneath that. So here's the SISLEY. So you can see here that the Patrick Ta is a little bit warmer than the SISLEY. There's a little bit more of a peachy coral tone to it. This is the Chantecaille Rose Duo from last summer. This is the one with the whale shark. And again, you can see that this one's also going to be a little bit warmer in tone than the SISLEY, which is here in the middle. This is the Chantecaille Philanthropy Cheek Shade in Coral, or Laughter, which is coral. And here we go. Again, it's not going to be quite as bubblegum pink as the SISLEY is. There's warmth in there. And again, it's technically a coral shade. And this is Joy from Chantecaille. This is the one with the horse. And this one is a better match. However, you can see that the Chantecaille is going to be a brighter pink, but they do have more similar undertones. And this is Chanel number 64, Pink Explosion. Now this one's shimmery, but I wanted to share that one anyway. All right, so it's definitely going to be a little bit deeper. And here is Chanel Rose Initial. So let's see how this one goes. I'm going to squeeze this one right here so you can kind of see. You can see that the Chanel is going to be a bit warmer than the SISLEY, but those are pretty close. And last up, we have the Viseart Blush Palette. Now, the closest thing I have in here to the Rosy Fushia would be this shade. I will put that one right here above the SISLEY. But you can see that it's going to be a little bit closer to the Vivid Azalea from Wayne Goss. So this is Wayne Goss, Viseart, SISLEY. And it's almost a cross between the Wayne Goss and the SISLEY. So this one's just going to be a little bit more plum. And for the light pink, let's look at this one with Pink Peony. This one down here at the bottom. You can see that this one's way different than the SISLEY one, which is right here. And just testing the middle shade here from Viseart. Just put that one there too. Again, the undertones of the Viseart shades are much cooler than this one here from SISLEY. So I hope that all of these swatches and comparisons ended up being helpful. Overall, I have to say that these new SISLEY blushes are fantastic. I'm very happy with the new formula. I love the longevity that I get from these blushes, and I just love how seamless they actually go onto the skin and how they sort of set with your makeup. And it just, I feel like it just gives you a really natural look, and you know, they're just beautiful. So I definitely recommend them. Again, right now they are exclusive to the SISLEY website at $80 each, but they are permanent and they will be coming to other retailers, and hopefully then we'll be able to take advantage of some sales. And as I mentioned at the beginning, I did end up purchasing 2 more shades and they are on their way to me. So I will definitely have swatches of those up when they arrive. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful. And again, if you are interested in purchasing from the SISLEY website, I urge you to check out any codes that may be available. For example, the CS 2021, where I was able to get my sample of the Igia La Nuit. I actually ended up ordering a full size of this because I really love it. So hopefully that was helpful, and I will see you soon. Have a great day. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon. Stay safe and healthy.